All right, look who's still with us, Mike Noble. I was not trying to get rid of you early, I promise. I'm happy that you stayed with us because we have a lot more to talk about.
I'm actually chained to this.
Yes, you can't leave. You're going to be with us all night long.
Help.
Before we went to break, we wanted to talk about District 5, Congressional District 5.
Yeah.
We talked about name recognition. Former Sheriff Mark Lamb has the name recognition, a bit of a sex scandal, too. That did not hurt him whatsoever. Were you surprised at all or no?
I personally was surprised, but literally every conversation I've had not only today and the last few days with a lot of the smart folks around here, I was like Chicken Little saying, I'm like, hey, he's probably going to be fine. A lot of people thought it'd be much closer or the other guy would come up win. And from my experience that I've seen is that Lamb was very well known, very well liked. This happened, a month or so before. He was endorsed by Trump twice. Also, the candidate going against him wasn't very strong to begin with. And I think the biggest thing is that the party has changed. If this was a decade ago, he would have like Alan Franken or other folks. They'd have to they'd be forced to move out. But in this new era of politics, a lot of these social guardrails and stuff that have been on there, it's kind of a free for all now of like what some of the social norms are of what they want from their elected officials.
Well, and there were a lot of attack ads against Mark Lamb when this all broke.
Yeah.
He took the tactic of not responding to that, of kind of going underground, going quiet, which everyone was trying to reach out to him and get some response, and there was really nothing there, no response. It turns out, I guess that was the right move here.
Oh, it was, and I'd say that he was probably looking at the data, because based on the data, like why, engage with that, just ignore it, fly on the radar, because again, no one of serious note was calling for him to drop out. Like there were some names there, but there really wasn't heavy pressure to him, and he knew he just had to kind of ride it out. Probably was very uncomfortable, but now he's going to end up being a sitting congressman.
Yeah.
Does he have to address it at all? I mean,
it's, he can if he wants to, but again, he's in a safe district. I think next year he may have to do that because of the district that he's in has a very heavy LDS community.
Yeah.
I could see someone of a more prominent note maybe taking him on, and I think that's been a very coveted seat. Because they're very big into civil service, things like that. So I don't know. I think maybe not now, but I think it'll have to be addressed because I think someone will end up of more stature going to take him on, which I think would be a good opportunity for him, frankly.
You bring up a great point, too. The fact that basically once you win, you are already running for like the next election
It's the worst
cycle.
job in the world, being in Congress. First they make you do call time. You have to raise, you're literally back to campaigning right away, and you have to fly from Arizona to D.C. all the time. And by the way, they have the lowest approval rating out of like any office out there. Like it's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah. I remember Kirsten Sinema telling me when she was in the House saying that the day after she won, she was making phone calls for like 4 hours a day in her office. Yeah,
and you have to raise money for other members. So not only you got to raise money for yourself, you got to raise money for other members and the party itself. I mean, it's truly an abysmal job.
Yeah, it's nonstop too. Yeah,
it is. Attorney General, before we go, I wanted to just address that on the GOP side. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
You're not really surprised, or are you surprised about that? With Glassman losing again?
I mean, how many?
Again.
Well, has he won any?
No.
I think that's one of the questions I have a bit is that with Rodney Glassman, he just really hasn't done a good job. Like first off, he ran against McCain actually back in the day. He was a Democrat, and the irony is if he just would have never changed parties to Republican, I think he would be elected today. But Warren Peterson, hats off to him. He raised a significant amount of money. He ran a really good race because Rodney, I think, had more money than anybody else in the primaries.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
interesting night
with Chris Mays, right?
Yeah, Chris Mays, but she's going to be a tough one to take on. She's pretty good, and she has $2 million in the bank right now too.
Mike Noble, thanks for being with us.